With your AM 950 weather, I'm Patrick Lilia. Today, sunshine with a high of 70, then tonight clear with a low of 51. Zero Res's Labor Day sale is going on now. Get 3 rooms of carpet clean starting at $119, plus a free hallway and $75 off an air duct cleaning. Make sure to schedule your appointment over the next week. Call 952-0RES or visit zeroresminnesota.com and ask for the AM 950 special.
Cafe Latte offers made-from-scratch soups, salads, sandwiches, and mouth-watering desserts.
So come check out their pizza and wine bar, or get a treat from the bakery made fresh daily. Plus, you can still do online ordering and takeout, along with gift cards. Just go to cafelatte.com and choose from their ever-changing selection of award-winning salads, sandwiches, and soups. Cafe Latte is located off Victoria and Grand and online at cafelatte.com.
Broadcasting from the studios of AM 950 KTNF, the progressive voice of Minnesota, and airing on WCPT 820, Chicago's Progressive Talk. Welcome to the Gailey Show, America's only daily LGBTQ progressive radio news and talk show in the United States. I am your host, John Parker. Jim Pounds, my executive producer, is here in the studio with me.
Hey, all.
And Patrick is in the control room. Hey, Patrick, how are you today?
Doing pretty well. Welcome back.
Thank you. Thank you. And also thank you for your help last week when we were at the Minnesota State Fair. It was fun to broadcast that. Folks in Chicago, you didn't get to hear that because we thought you wouldn't really care about us broadcasting live from the Minnesota State Fair. But Patrick was here in the control room, making it all just seem seamless.
I would describe it as a free-for-all. That's the word I would use.
Wow. Well, thank you, Patrick, for all that work that you did to help us.
Well, I appreciate it, and it was fun. Good job, you guys out there.
Oh, cheers. Cheers. All right. Before we get the show started today, I've got a final pair of Grease tickets to give away. So if you're in Minneapolis and it's the 2 p.m. hour, you can call 952-946-6205, 952-946-6205. It's greaseback hair and leather jackets, ponytails and poodle skirts, fast cars, and rock and roll. Grease is back at Chanhassen Dinner Theaters. The next caller gets a free pair of tickets, and you get to decide which night you're going to go see the show. So it's not for a particular date. It's for the date that works for you. So long as when you get the tickets, you call them in time to schedule. Otherwise, then you're just going to get the date that you get.
I just went through this process, and we're going to go on September 3rd. And
Ooh.
you have to, they'll tell you which seats are available and you kind of talk it through. Yeah, it's a nice conversation because you feel like you have some input as opposed to.
Yeah, you get to pick the date that you're going and also the seats that you're going to sit in.
Yeah, it was very nice.
Next caller gets a free pair of tickets to a date of your choice and seats of your choice at Chanhassen Dinner Theater. That number is 952-946-6205. I also want to mention Queer Gaze. So this is a monthly film festival. Queer Gaze is excited to be partnered with Imagine Willow Creek Theater to present a new queer film on the big screen every Sunday, last Sunday of the month. This Sunday is the last Sunday, August 31st at 2 p.m. They will be showing the classic Torch Song Trilogy from 1988. It is a comedy, drama, romance starring and written by Harvey Fierstein, who also wrote and starred it when it was on Broadway and won the Tony Award. And if I'm remembering correctly, was the first out gay man to win a Tony.
Did he win for his performance or for the script?
I don't remember.
I don't remember
That's where my memory is not.
I know he won a Tony, but I can't remember.
Helping me out. But the film, Arnold is looking for love and acceptance, but as a drag queen in 1970s New York City, neither come easily. After a series of heartaches, Arnold believes he has found the love of his life in Alan, and the two make plans to adopt a child. Based on the Tony Award-winning play, Matthew Broderick, fun fact, plays Harvey Fierstein's boyfriend, Alan. Anne Bancroft plays the mother. Tickets are on sale at Imagine, that's with an E, imagine-entertainment.com/queer-gaze.
That'd be a fun one to see on a big screen.
We'll post that link in the show notes and on our Blue Sky account. All right. What is on the show today? Ron DeSantis, overnight, in the dead of night, just erased a memorial to the victims of the Pulse Nightclub shooting.
Oh, jeez.
And if we want to recall, last fall, 86% of LGBTQ voters voted for Kamala Harris and Tim Walz.
Mhm.
And at a time when the DNC struggles are worse than we expected, the liberal think tank Third Way has come up with a brilliant solution. Don't say gay. I'm not joking. We'll get into that later in the show. HHS, so the Health and Human Services federal agency, has canceled $12 million in a sex education grant to California. They canceled it after that state refused to eliminate gender identity lessons from its public school curriculum.
Good for California.
But not to be outdone. Our top story. The Supreme Court just set back health research for a generation. And this is not just for the LGBTQ community.
Right.
This is affecting almost $800 million of health research
Right.
that the MAGA Trump administration disagrees with on a variety of levels. And so they just said, we are axing all of it.
So we can say "Make America Dumb Again," I guess would be the.
Well, but here, so we're gonna pull out some of the information. So the Supreme Court said at the end of last week, so we weren't able to cover it as it was breaking, that there was a judge who blocked the cutting of $783 million of grants that the National Institutes of Health was administering. I want to be mindful that these were not just one-off grants. Some of this was funding work that had been going on for several years.
Yep.
It was a 5-4 decision. Chief Justice John Roberts sided with the liberals,
Son of a gun.
who wouldn't have allowed the cuts. The High Court did keep the Trump administration's anti-DEI directive blocked for future funding, with a key vote from Justice Amy Conant Barrett. However, I can't even. So the Justice Department. No. I want to find my reaction here, because folks are stunned at the level of how bad this is right now. It is a death knell for so much health research, and because it's being cut now in the first 6 months of now what are we in the 8th month of the administration, it's going to be another 3.5 years of just gone, not there. And then by the time a hopeful Democratic administration takes over in 2028, ideally with a Democratic Congress, by the time they are able to refund and get that going again, researchers can't just start a grant. You know what I mean? They're going to have to, the grant application process takes forever. It takes months. It takes months for review. It takes months for it to get back up and started once you get the funding. It is going to be.
Well,
and that's if we get everything back.
I don't recall if a so-called government, I don't think of this as a legitimate federal government, but I don't remember a government being anti-health. That just seems so, that's pretty extreme, I think. And so all the MAGA people that voted for it, you said death knell, and that's really what you're going to start seeing. An awful lot of people are going to die because when you stop researching ways to improve people's health or protect people's health or find cures for things, that is sort of advocating for people's premature death, which is a new low for the United States, I think.
Jenna Norton, who is a program officer at the National Institute of Diabetes and Digestive and Kidney Diseases, said that in a scientific, this is a quote, in a scientific sense, this is a total loss.
Right. Yep. Speaking as a diabetic, if I could think of another reason to hate this administration, they've just given it to me, but. And I'm not being flippant about it. I believe a lot of people are going to die unnecessarily. That's what his legacy is during the first COVID thing. A lot of people died unnecessarily, and he seems to continue to do that.
In June, the Judge William Young, who is in the U.S. District Court in Massachusetts, blocked the cutting of all of these grants. And in his opinion, he wrote, "I have been on the bench for 40 years. I've never seen government racial discrimination like this." A 3-judge appeals court panel held up his ruling, saying that the Trump administration could not make all of these cuts. And now the Supreme Court has said, nah, go ahead.
Yeah.
Now, the case is still being working through the courts with what the Supreme Court is saying, like they did with, kicking out trans service members from the Army. The Supreme Court said, yeah, go ahead and do that. Yes, the case hasn't been, resolved, but go ahead and do that, which is basically saying, yeah, we're telling you how we're going to rule when this eventually gets up to us.
Right.
So they just went ahead again and said, yeah, go ahead, cut $783 million of health research funding. Just go ahead and do it, because by the time it gets to us, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, this is how we're going to decide.
Why do you think the gentleman called it racial? I'm sure it is. I'm not doubting it. I'm just not sure that health research, you're saying some of it
That's
was
what I mean. It was
specific-
outside of the LGBTQ community. This was health research that was looking into racial disparities. This was health
racial
research that was looking into all sorts of different things.
I see.
The Trump administration, though, there was COVID research that was going on there.
Yep.
All the things that he doesn't like, that doesn't align with his political vision and MAGA's political vision, were axed.
Well, I'm trying to personalize this by saying, I believe that I will not live as long as I would have if Donald Trump had never been elected. I believe my life expectancy will be shorter. I'm a diabetic. I expect that my life will be shortened by his presence. So I bet there's a lot of us out there who could say the same thing if we are really honest with ourselves.
And the thing is that the federal government funds so much medical innovation in terms of procedures, in terms of medicine, all of that. And now if Trump doesn't like it, it's getting axed.
Who knows nothing about medicine or health or business or common sense or leadership, or this guy has no skills really, except he's a bully.
Now,
and he's fat. He's good at being fat.
Okay, let's not.
Well, I'm just saying he's a very successful fat man.
Okay, see,
right?
Jim,
I mean, he's very good at that.
We're gonna leave that aside because that was just totally unnecessary. And we're going.
I was trying to think of skills.
To talk about how something that came out of this.
Yes.
Was I found my favorite ever Supreme Court justice.
Oh.
Based off of their dissent.
Okay.
Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson.
Yes.
Is now my favorite ever Supreme Court justice because here's her quote, or what she wrote in her dissent. In a broader sense, today's ruling is of a piece with this court's recent tendencies. Right when the judiciary should be hunkering down to do all it can to preserve the law's constraints, the court opts instead to make vindicating the rule of law and preventing manifestly injurious government action as difficult as possible. This is Calvin Ball jurisprudence with a twist. Calvin Ball has only one rule. There are no fixed rules. We seem to have two. She quoted Calvin and Hobbes.
All right. Well,
favorite Supreme Court justice ever. We're going to have more about the Gailey. We're going to have more news on the Gailey Show. Stay tuned after this break.
Hi, this is Frank Brown of Minuteman Press Uptown with a question for our local small businesses. Do you want more leads, more store traffic, more customers? Thousands of local businesses, just like yours, count on Minuteman Uptown to drive sales. We make your business stand out and show out. We print everything from signage, promotions, and direct marketing. We connect you to the community. Choose Minuteman Uptown because we share your values, and we are a proud union shop. Contact us today at mpuptown.com.
Hey, Francois, how are you enjoying the state fair?
Amusé.
Oh, you really do love those macarons from Nicolette's, don't you?
Oh, ils sont merveilleux.
I've heard there's great new flavors, cotton candy, root beer float, sweet corn, and mini donut.
Très, très bon goût.
Oh, plus they have 12 other gluten-free flavors. It's so great you support a local, small, woman-owned business.
Bien sûr, avec plaisir.
Visit Nicolette's in the West End Market between Lulu's and the Blue Barn. See you at that great Minnesota get-together.
It's no secret that medical care costs are soaring, with nursing home and skilled nursing care costs being some of the highest. You don't have to deplete your savings in order to receive long-term care. At Schroman Law, we work with families to develop and implement strategic planning for medical assistance for long-term care, for assisted living, nursing home care, or home-based care. Contact us today to schedule a free consultation at schromanlaw.com. That's SCHROMEN law.com.
End-of-life decisions are not easy to make. Hi, I'm Mary T. of Mary T. Hospice Care. It's important to make sure that this difficult time is meaningful and comforting to you and your loved ones. Our hospice team provides an individualized program of physical, emotional, spiritual, and practical care so your loved one is comfortable and not in pain. At Mary T. Hospice, we understand that choosing the right hospice care provider can be overwhelming, but we're here to assist you. Learn more today at marytinc.com.
Hey, it's Robert Pilot from Native Roots Radio. The Minnesota State Fair is packed with 12 days of fun with food, rides, and much, much more. And right in the middle of it all, you'll find Indigenous voices making an impact. Seat the common table for lessons in Indigenous food justice. Visit with Native authors and watch drum groups. Plus, stop by the Native Roots Trading Post back at the West End Market. That's the Minnesota State Fair through September 1st. Get your State Fair tickets now at mnstatefair.org.
The independently owned Next Chapter Booksellers is the perfect destination for your next book. The friendly staff at Next Chapter Booksellers are great at making recommendations no matter your age or taste. Plus, they have frequent events including book readings and meet and greets with authors. And they sell more than just books. They have a wide variety of puzzles and games, too. So stop in and browse the store off Snelling and Grand in St. Paul. More at nextchapterbooksellers.com.
Welcome back to The Gailey Show. I am John Parker. We are coming up on the bottom of the hour. Speaking of, well, first of all, I just don't want to leave that. I love Calvin and Hobbes. I have so many of their collections. So the fact that Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson would be quoting Calvin Ball in here, and I rushed into it to get to the break, but she said in her dissent last week that this is Calvin Ball jurisprudence with a twist. Calvin Ball has only one rule. There are no fixed rules. We seem to have two. That one and this administration always wins. And I don't think you need to have a law degree actually to read Justice Jackson Brown's dissents, because they are very well written and very simple English, because she's talking to us. She's telling us what is going on there. And if you get a chance to read those, I highly recommend. Like I just gave you a quote there from it. It is not super legalese there. And she's telling us what is happening inside the Supreme Court right now. And it is not good. Not good there. Basically giving him a carte blanche. Speaking of healthcare that was axed, the RFK Jr.'s Health and Human Services Agency has cut a $12 million sex ed grant to California because they are daring to include information about LGBTQ people in their teaching. So the grant was around, where is the program there? It was part of the Personal Responsibility Education Program, PrEP, not to deal with PrEP, the anti-HIV transmission drug. In it, the curriculum was very, very simple about LGBTQ basic knowledge there. And the Trump administration said, nope, you are not abiding by the Trump's executive order. And so you have X amount of time to change the curriculum. California said no. And so now they've lost the $12 million grant. More free speech, right? More free speech for students that, they don't get to, you can't say gay, apparently, in this country anymore. And if you do, then you will lose your funding. And I'll be very curious to see how California communicates this moving forward and tries to get on the, are they going to sit there and talk about how, look at what the Trump administration is doing? They are saying, well, they're saying this is what you have to teach. And if you don't teach it this way, then you're going to lose all of your funding. Or are they going to allow the narrative to be stolen from them and say, well, look, because of, the transgender folks or the LGBTQ folks, we've lost this program now from the federal government. We'll have to see what they're going to do. Because we're going to talk about a liberal think tank now. Third Way. So Third Way is they're liberal, I guess, but you could say that they really try to be, they call themselves the Third Way because they're trying to, it kind of came out of the Clinton administration where it's like, we don't want to be super liberal, but we don't be super, Republican. So we'll just have a third way, a centrist way. I know. Let me pull up my notes here. They have issued a memo and they have sent it to a communication that they say to all who wish to stop Donald Trump and MAGA from Third Way. They don't even give you who wrote this. It's just from Third Way on their website. Now, this is coming at a time when the DNC is in trouble. There's some recent reporting as the DNC is gathering this week in Minneapolis that they are way behind the Republicans in two critical things: fundraising and voter registration. Go ahead.
I just want to say, in terms of fundraising, John and I were talking about this on the way in today. I've always felt, and I might still feel, that it's important to fund campaigns. That I always kind of believe that the campaign is a better place for your money to go because they're closer to the ground, as it were. But I sometimes hear people that are more party oriented and they say it's the party that's really more sophisticated, in quotes, and that they know better how to spend money. So one of the things I'm questioning is whether the Democratic Party is behind on fundraising. Is that also true of candidates? Because they really are, I believe, two separate things. And I'd love somebody to call in and give their opinion about what is better, to give money to a candidate, that's my belief, or give money to a party.
Well,
I mean, at some point we should
tell you how bad it is. New numbers from just last week. At the end of June, the Republican National Committee had $80 million on hand. The DNC, 15.
Right. But, and we're always going to be behind because of the Supreme Court thing that says you can spend as much money on it. We are not the party of quadrillionaires, and so we're not ever going to have as much money. But I agree with you, that's a problem, and there's a lot of blame for that. But I'm telling people, donate. Make sure you donate, whether it's to the party or the individual candidate. But donate as smart as you can, and it's really important to keep doing that because the money is a factor. It's a factor.
There is a problem with voter registration. So this year, Republicans, it's data coming out, have added 4.5 million new voters compared to Democrats.
Yeah, that's
so there are two main things you should be doing here: fundraising and registering voters. Yeah. And the Democratic Party is falling behind on both of those things.
I'm more stunned at that.
I want to talk about the sorry, I got to fit in a break coming up here. I want to talk about what Third Way, though, is publishing, which is basically their version of Don't Say Gay. But before we take a break here, I want to share about our travel partner, new travel partner, Travel Marquette. And the reason why is that for the past decade, Marquette, Michigan has become a very special place for me. I first went there because it was equidistant between a friend and me to meet up for a long weekend. It was kind of a lark, like, hey, let's meet up at this historic town on Lake Superior. And it was in November, and I immediately had this comforting vibe with Marquette. I found a stack of good books to buy at a local bookstore. Well, it's local bookstore, big deal for me. I'm very judgy about bookstores. And we got to chill out on this great bending hike along a river. And there was a local bakery with these donuts and these bagels. I mean, they're so good. that we literally go there every morning now. And I didn't have to worry about traveling while queer there because it's a university town and it's a super blue city and county. And since then, it's been like all of these things for me because I've been going twice a year for 10 years now. It's a self-made writer's retreat. It's a place to celebrate pride along the lakeshore. And if a place could be comfort food, that is Marquette for me. So I'm actually going to be headed back this fall. And I'm really grateful to be in partnership with Travel Marquette. So you can go to travelmarquette.com to start your journey. We're going to have more from The Gailey Show when we come back.
Hey, Minnesota, it's Brad Friedman, host of the Bradcast. We'll expose and make sense of all of our current political nightmares and more every weeknight at 7 on AM 950.
Hey, it's Tom. There's a war being waged on clean energy. A bill in Congress could eliminate the 30% federal tax credit for solar by the end of 2025. And once it's gone, it may never come back. Fossil fuel giants and their MAGA friends in Washington want to kill green energy. But you can fight back. Going solar with All Energy Solar isn't just smart, it's a form of resistance. You choose where your money goes, not to utility companies, not to fossil fuel billionaires, but toward clean, renewable power for your home. A system from All Energy Solar works in Minnesota year-round because it runs on sunlight, not heat. So even in the dead of winter, you're generating electricity. And All Energy Solar helps you save with every rebate and incentive available. This is the moment to act. Waiting means risking with this tax credit and giving the upper hand to MAGA Republicans. So get your free consultation today at allenergysolar.com and take back your power.
Hey, it's Patrick for Zero Res. Did you know that August is Pet Appreciation Month? Zero Res doesn't use harsh soaps or chemicals, so it's safe for all your furry friends. If you have a pet like I do, you know they like to leave little bits of themselves around the house, whether that's fur or dander or worse, and you need to call my cleaning heroes at Zero Res to help get your house back in shape. Carpets, tile, rugs, upholstery, hardwood, every surface in your home can be Zero Resified. So if it's been months since your last deep clean, it's time to give the pros at Zero Res a call. And if you need to freshen up your home for the fall, Zero Res is dropping a Labor Day sale just in time for the start of the school year. Get 3 rooms of carpet clean starting at just $119, plus a free hallway and $75 off an air duct cleaning. Sale ends Labor Day. Call 952-ZERO-RES or go to ZeroResMinnesota.com and ask for the AM 950 special. Backward or forward spells the same. Zero Res.
Turn to Auto Technical with your vehicle donation. We have families waiting for a car. You know, over 85% of unemployed are successful in finding and keeping a job if they have dependable transportation. A car plus a job equals a life changed. 612-919-5526. We have families waiting for a car. 919-5526 or autotech.org.
With your AM 950 weather, I'm Patrick Lilia. Today, sunshine with a high of 70, then tonight clear with a low of 51.
State Fair savings are here at Chanhassen Dinner Theaters. Save $25 on tickets to select performances of Grease, White Christmas, and Guys and Dolls. Tickets and details at chanhassendt.com/fair25.
Of AM 950 KTNF, the progressive voice of Minnesota, and airing on WCPT 820 Chicago's Progressive Talk. Welcome back to the Gailey Show. I am your host, John Parker, joined in studio by my executive producer, Jim Pounds. It is 33 minutes after the hour. So, back to the story about Third Way. They're a think tank. And they have put out a memo. And they said, you know, in reality, most Democrats do not, I'm quoting here from their memo, most Democrats do not run or govern on wildly out of touch social positions. This is true. But voters would be excused, they write, to believe that we do because of the words that come out of our mouths. words which sound like we are hiding behind unfamiliar phrases to mask extreme intent. So they said, in this memo, we are putting a spotlight on the language we use that puts a wall between us and everyday people. Okay. These are words that people simply do not say.
Like what, for example?
And we're getting to that.
Oh.
There's one more point that I want to say. These words, where did it go here? Well, darn it. My notes got all screwed up here. There it is. Okay, well, here are the words. This is words that everyday people don't use. Sorry, it's the beginning of the week, and all of my notes here are just jumbled together. But here, we're going to just scroll down. So each section of this memo, so they've got, organizer jargon and seminar room language and therapy speak. The one big section here is gender orientation correctness. And these are the words that normal people don't use.
Okay.
LGBTQIA+.
You mean all the letters?
No, they just list it as the acronym.
Oh. What do they?
Yeah. Heteronormative.
Yeah.
That's bad.
Well.
Cisgender. That's bad.
Yeah.
Dead naming. That's apparently a bad, when you call a trans person by their previous name, it's called dead naming. And apparently saying normal people don't use that word. Now, the fun thing is that they're saying here, the thing that gets me about this is that they're saying, don't say gay, literally, don't say LGBTQIA+. And then literally right below that, standing up, they say, they dare to write, standing up to MAGA's cruel attacks on gay and transgender people requires creating empathy and building a coalition and not confusing or shaming people who could otherwise be allies. I'm sorry. If you're a person right now, call in. Please call in if you feel like the term LGBTQIA+ doesn't create a broad coalition. 952-946-6205. 952-946-6205. It is absolute insanity.
Well, I think you and I both know there are probably people who get frustrated by all the letters, which is the most petty thing in the world. The point is, if you can say lesbian and gay, I think you're part of the way there. There's more work to be done. Why wouldn't anybody want to be better? I don't understand that laziness about Americans, but you should be able to say lesbian and gay. I think you can do that. You can choke that out of your mouth, can't you?
They don't want Third Way doesn't want you to talk about food insecurity anymore.
Oh.
They don't want you to talk about housing insecurity.
Oh.
You know what they do want you to call people?
No.
Poor.
Oh. That sort of covers it all. Huh?
Yeah. And their section organizer jargon. These words say we're beholden to groups, not to individuals. So saying food insecurity means you're special interest now. Saying your housing insecurity means you're special interest now. But here's their concluding statement on that section. Democrats can fight for the poor and the hungry and the homeless. Oh, okay. Do you know where those terms came from? Third Way, food insecurity, and housing insecurity. It came from researchers.
Well, one thing the Trump administration has done is they will, when this stupid bill goes through, it'll have doubled the number of people in poverty to some 32 million. So maybe it's just too many people now to talk about them in any sort of specific
Another
way.
phrase they don't like, barriers to participation. Oh, okay. So if you say there's barriers to voting, barriers to participating and voting, apparently regular people don't like to think that way, guys.
Well, that's different now, not being comfortable with it or understanding it versus not liking to think a certain way, though. That's not the same thing. But
They don't want you to use the word intersectionality. That is a legal term based in decades of legal research.
Right.
Can't say intersectionality anymore.
Right. Well, I do agree we have to dumb ourselves down a bit because God knows he has managed to dumb himself down to a point where I never thought would be possible. And lots of Republicans are following him. dumbing it down as far as they can. So America is sort of racing to the bottom because of these fools. So maybe we do have to dumb down some of our thinking because now I don't think we stay there. I think we have to get back control of the narrative. But it's worth aspiring to be better people. I mean, I don't want to have anything to do with anybody that doesn't aspire to want to be a better person. All of us should want to do that. Right?
They have the gall to then to try to pre-chastise, to pre-scold us, and their conclusion to say, before you draft your angry tweet thread, think about conversations with persuadable voters in your own life and consider whether the use of language above hurts your cause.
Yeah. Well,
I'm sorry. I have been dealing with the LGBTQ community, professionally speaking, gay for pay, since 2014.
Mm-hmm. But you acknowledge it's an education process. In other words, you have more knowledge maybe than the average person, and the average person feels dumb when they don't feel like they know, right? I certainly feel that way sometimes. So we are trying to lead people.
Nobody knows the conflict of dictionaries and glossaries more than I do. I actually, when I was a chief diversity officer, said, I'm not going to do those anymore because I'm not going to reinvent the wheel. I understand the problems of linguistic inclusion. It is very tricky because language is tricky. But for Third Way to come out here and say, don't use the acronym, what is your, that's wonderful. That's amazing that you get to have that clarity. As someone who is in the community, though, we have to constantly, because our understanding of gender and sexuality are constantly shifting as the science comes in, because in the community, we believe in science.
Yep.
But for people that are like, I don't like the acronym anymore. Okay, fine. What do you suggest using?
Right. Well, something.
You don't like the word queer.
Right.
You don't like the word gay. You don't like the word lesbian. You don't like the word bisexual. You don't like the word trans. So basically what you're saying is don't say gay at all.
Well, obviously that's not going to happen in this studio. That's for sure. I mean, I think some of that is way over. I know who they're trying to appeal to. But again, if somebody's a good person, they want to be better at what they do too. If somebody's not a good person, they're not interested in making any sort of effort. Everybody has to accommodate them. And I don't think we're going to appeal to a lot of those people. The purely selfish among us, I don't think we're going to appeal to them very much. I think we're going to appeal to people that want life to move forward, want human beings to progress. That's why would you not want that? What kind of problem in your brain exists that you don't want?
Even in their little thing here, they're like
progress.
standing up to MAGA's cruel attacks on gay and transgender people. Okay, gay and transgender. What about bisexual people?
Well, right.
What about intersex people?
Right.
What about lesbians?
Right.
A lot of lesbians do not identify as gay. Do you see the problem here? So for you to just come out Third Way with just your blanket, do not use LGBTQIA plus because normal people don't use that.
Right.
Regular people don't use that word.
Right.
Okay, you know why? Because MAGA's sitting out there and using very derogatory terms towards us.
Yep. Well, that's the thing. We're going to have to fight fire with fire. I do it a lot now in my Facebook posts. I'm rather heated and negative and do some name calling because that's what we've been subjected to. And so I'm not going to just sit here and be a polite egghead. I'm going to fight back. And I think we have to do a lot more fighting back, to be honest with you, which is kind of to your point, not just being quiet and being a church mouse and keeping our opinions to ourselves. I don't think that's going to get us anywhere but further down the ladder. So I agree with you. We have to fight back. We have to expect more of ourselves and other people, and call people what they are. Stop enabling. I have a huge problem with how much enabling is going on of unsavory people just because you are related to them. I don't really care that you're related to them. It doesn't excuse bad behavior.
How are we? And they open the section on gender and orientation correctness by saying these terms say Quote, your views on traditional genders and gender roles are at best quaint. First of all, let's start with traditional genders and gender roles here. That tells me that they don't believe that trans people have existed since time immemorial. They don't think queer people have existed since time immemorial. We're doing the terms of the debate based off of Christian nationalism over and over and over again. We have to do the terms of the debate on their playing field. Never get to have it on our playing field.
You're right.
And saying the name, saying LGBTQIA plus apparently means that we're being dismissive of people.
I think there's some feeling of guilt there, to be honest with you. But I think we have to keep aspiring to be better. That's the motivation is not to show that we're smarter than anybody else. It's just to aspire to be better.
Yes, but sitting here and saying, I mean, our free speech is basically gone in this country.
Well,
our books are being banned out of schools.
Yep.
Where you can have grants kicked, you can have your grants cut off for any agency that the Trump administration doesn't like. Yep. He's telling universities right now, and they're all running along with it right now, saying, okay, yeah, we won't say gay on our campus either. We won't say anything that you don't like when it relates to the LGBTQ people. Just tell us what you don't want and we'll do it.
Right.
Healthcare centers are shutting down programs left and right. And so to have Third Way supposedly on our side, sit there and come up with a list of terms from the community that we are no longer allowed to say because it's alienating voters.
With friends like that, yeah. Oh, I know what you're saying. But that's why we're not, I think it's ridiculous to say don't say gay. That is absolutely absurd. And so we're not going to capitulate to that. We are not going to behave that way. I don't care whether somebody thinks that's politically correct or more palatable. I could care less.
There are so many things that we should be doing right now to build coalition.
Yes. Agreed.
And we're not.
Well, we have to do that.
I feel like I'm getting told on a daily basis right now how me personally, as a queer American, am a liability.
I don't feel that way. I know you do. I don't. But yes, some people are
talking
saying
about
that.
Me as a political liability, according to too many people in leadership positions in the Democratic Party.
Right.
I see a governor who wants to be president who is going out of his way to cut down in his sphere. Governor Newsom vetoing bills, cutting funding to the LGBTQ community. So what am I supposed to do here? What are LGBTQ people? Oh my God, I can't believe I said that. Nobody wants to hear that. No real people use LGBTQIA+. So stop saying it. What are we supposed to do here, Third Way? What is our role in America?
Well, they want us to vote for them and shut up, which we're not going to do. So, like you said, 86% of us voted the right way. There's a lot of groups in the Democratic camp that cannot say that, but we can.
Yeah. All right, we're going to take a break and have more fun news when we come back. You're listening to The Gailey Show on AM 950 KTNF, the progressive voice of Minnesota, and WCPT 820, Chicago's progressive talk, where facts still matter.
Located just north of 50th in France, the Great Wall Restaurant has provided a delicious taste of authentic Chinese cuisine since 1981. Specializing in Szechuan and Peking dishes, they offer one of the most extensive menus in the Twin Cities. Favorites include hot and sour soup, pan-fried dumplings, and mushu pork with homemade Chinese pancakes. Stop by their Edina location or call for takeout at 952-927-4439. See the full menu at greatwallrestaurant.us.
End-of-life decisions are not easy to make. Hi, I'm Mary T. of Mary T. Hospice Care. It's important to make sure that this difficult time is meaningful and comforting to you and your loved ones. Our hospice team provides an individualized program of physical, emotional, spiritual, and practical care so your loved one is comfortable and not in pain. At Mary T. Hospice, we understand that choosing the right hospice care provider can be overwhelming, but we're here to assist you. Learn more today at marytinc.com.
Hey friends, this is John Parker from The Gailey Show. When I travel, I want to go somewhere where I can unwind, get back to nature, like with waterfalls and hiking, enjoy some classic downtown shopping with good restaurants, and also just be myself as a queer person without worries. That's why twice a year for the past 10 years, I've been visiting Michigan's Marquette County. This fall, join me and head up to the Fresh Coast. Visit travelmarquette.com to start your journey.
Peace of mind shouldn't cost a fortune. We keep things simple at Schroman Law because we believe planning for your estate and end-of-life care shouldn't be stressful or expensive. Every client relationship starts with a free consultation so clients have the information they need before making important decisions. From there, we work closely with clients to ensure they are choosing the most efficient and cost-effective plans for their specific needs. Schedule a free consultation today at schromenlaw.com. That's SCHROMEN law.com.
Hi, this is Frank Brown of Minuteman Press Uptown with a question for our listeners that use social media. Do you want an authentic way to connect with people in your life? Something more meaningful. Thousands of people just like you know that when it matters, count on Minuteman Uptown for custom quality digital prints. From Canva creations to self-published books, from business cards to banners and signs, we print everything. Find more information at mpuptown.com. Contact Minuteman Uptown today, and we'll help you connect to what matters.
Discover a world of foods. Visit Shanghai International Wholesale Market, a spacious food warehouse open to the public with discounts for buying in bulk. Incredible selection of global and local foods, 500 different types of noodles, specialty items, and local foods you won't find anywhere else. Shanghai Wholesale Market, your local international food warehouse. Shanghai is just north of University Avenue off of Pryor.
Welcome back to the Gailey Show. I am your depressed, disgruntled host, John Parker.
Well, perk up for this last segment.
I'm just told on a daily basis. I am reminded on a daily basis how what I say and who I am is such a mortal threat to the country. So when I see a liberal think tank put out a communication from the mindset of these are things that people are saying that are harming democracy, our attempts to gain power to save democracy, and those are terms coming from my community, and as simple as LGBTQIA+, I want to get on the first plane out of here. I don't feel like I'm part of a big tent. I don't feel like I'm part of a coalition.
Right.
What I feel right now, me personally, as a queer person in this country, this fascist Christian nationalist country right now, is that if the Democratic Party gets power in 2029, none of this will be rolled back for LGBTQ people. Absolutely none of it, because they will be too afraid that if they do restore any of this, that they'll lose power again. So no, I don't trust Gavin Newsom. And no, I don't trust Third Way. And no, now my trust in the Democratic Party again is cut down.
Well,
because I have to constantly sit there and wait for when you are going to kick me out of the tent.
I just don't. They don't have the right to do that. We have every right to be here and to advocate for what we believe in, and they can, they'll soft pedal some of it and all that. But
to sit here and have to fight and justify my free speech to so-called allies.
You don't have to.
I want to be working with them to do what we should be doing, what the DNC should be doing, which is registering voters, which is fundraising, which is getting quality information out to voters so they can practice democracy.
Right. But that's been a Democratic problem, hasn't it? Always sort of undermining themselves, second guessing themselves, weak leadership. We've always had terrible leadership. But the core of the values are we want humankind to move forward in a positive way, in a progressive way. And we're going to insist on that. And I don't really give a whatever what word they think I can use or not. I could care less. And we have to have that confidence in our own humanity, our own worth, and we don't need to justify ourselves to anybody. None of us do in our lives.
I get what you're saying.
We don't have to be quiet because Uncle Bart over there doesn't really like gays. You know what, Uncle Bart? Take a long walk off a short pier. Stop interacting with that person. Stop going to those events. Stop enabling that kind of mentality. Be around good people. There's so many good people. That's what you can do for yourself. So don't let them tell you what you can say or not say. Forget it. Do what you know is right because you have a good heart. All the good people in the Democratic Party have a good heart.
The fact
Follow
that third way isn't even politically astute enough to name the moment of queer erasure happening in this country, and then to have the audacity to say using the term like LGBTQIA+ is damaging the Democrats' ability to take back control. And also another story here from Florida, where in the dead of night, DeSantis sends his little government in there to erase a rainbow crosswalk that had been painted and created to honor the victims of the shooting at Pulse Nightclub a number of years ago. So they pass a law saying that they're going to get rid of it. And then instead of just, okay, we're going to go in during the day and we're going to, they go in the dead of night, and people wake up the next morning and the rainbow crosswalk is gone.
Right.
This is what we're dealing with here. They're going into the park in New York City, the Stonewall Inn Park, and they're getting rid of all the terms out of there. That's what you want then, third way? You want them to get, that's exactly, okay, here. They did exactly, the Trump administration did exactly what third way wants in the Stonewall Inn. He got rid of the LGBTQ acronym, and now it just says gays and lesbians in there.
Right.
So there you go. Third way, you're right on the side of MAGA.
Right.
Congratulations.
Right. I agree with you. The word that comes to my mind is vengeance. That's what gets me up every morning. That's what I think about before I go to bed at night. We will have our vengeance. And I think we should all be thinking that way. Well, I'm not going to talk about that. But I'm confident of it. We will have our vengeance. Let that give you some power. You know?
The scope of what needs to get done here.
Don't think of it that way. You
but
can't.
No, but we have to think of it this way.
Well,
because if we're going to save our democracy, the vision that we have to have just to get back to where we were in the final year of the Biden administration, that's going to require billions of dollars in investment in health research. It's going to require hiring 500,000 workers to the federal workforce that were fired. It's going to require reforming the Supreme Court. It's going to require reestablishment of the separation of powers. It's going to require so many big things to restore free speech. That's another thing, to restore free speech to the LGBTQ community, to reestablish freedom of thought on our universities, and not that they're just going to sit there and do whatever the president of the United States says.
Right.
The work that we need to do here. And then I see the Democrats turn around and go, oh my God, Zohran Mamdani wants free buses in New York? That's insanity. How are you going to fix the Supreme Court?
Well, the last time we fought fascism, all we could focus on was getting rid of the evil fascists. And that's the first thing we have to do. So focus on that.
It's a terrible way. I'm sorry, folks, to kick off the week, but I'm feeling it. I'm in my feelings right now. So we're going to hand you off.
Come back
to
tomorrow at 2
o'clock
o'clock
with Richard Chu on WCPT 820, and we're going to hand you off in Minneapolis to the Matt McNeil Show on AM 950. And stay tuned after that for Native Roots Radio. And then tonight at 10 p.m. Central, step into the unknown with Greg Bakken on Ghostbox Radio. You can stream our show everywhere you get your podcast, or at youtube.com/@thegailyshow. You can connect with us on Blue Sky. We're at thegailyshow.org on Blue Sky. And until tomorrow, somehow, keep it queer, America.
Keep it queer.